Hi, I'm Felicia.
And I'm Giancarlo.
And this is our review of
Spirium!
Spirium.
No, Spirium.
Like,
but you gotta say it with the English accent because it takes place in Victorian England! And that sounds nothing like an English accent.
Not
Can you do one?
Spirium.
Wow, that was worse than mine. In Spirium, players lead an industrial conglomerate and try to be the best in the business by constructing buildings, employing workers, mining the rare element Spirium and gaining wealth to invest, gaining new techniques, and calling on some influential characters. In the box, you'll get a game board, 35 meeple representing workers, 7 for each 5 colors, 20 discs, 4 for each color, about 50 Spirium crystals, 24 tokens numbered 1, 2, and 3, 8 of each number, 5 start cards, 7 event cards, 7 technique cards, 17 character cards, and 35 building cards. Be the player to have the most victory points at the end of the 6th round to win.
Here's how to set up. Place the game board a little on the side of the table. Mix the cards A, B, and C to form respective decks and place them on the right of the game board. Shuffle the event cards and make a face-up deck, placing it on the bottom leftmost side of the game board, also known as the future event space. Give each player 4 discs of their chosen color, placing 1 on the 0 on the score track, 1 on the 2 of the residence track, 1 on the phase 1 space, and the other they keep. Give each player a start card, 3 workers of their color, 2 Spirium crystals, and 8 pounds. The rest of the workers are placed on the left side of the game board. These might be available to players later on. The bonus tokens are placed on the scoring track next to the number 8. The numbered tokens are shuffled and placed face down to form a pool.
The turn is comprised of 3 phases: beginning a turn, placement and activation, and end of turn. When you start a turn, 4 things happen. Each player gets revenue equal to the number their disc is on the residence track. This applies to the first turn as well. The turn's event card is placed and is moved from the future event deck to the turn's event space on the right. Now the first player sets up the market. He will draw 9 cards from the current period deck and place them in a 3x3 grid under the game board. And the workers of each player are made active, which means they are placed on each player's start cards.
Placement and activation is where all players in turn perform an action available to them. If their disc is on phase 1, this is called the placement phase. Here they can place a worker, use the turn's event by placing his disc on it, or start their activation phase by moving their colored disc from phase 1 to phase 2. Placing a worker is just that. Placing one of their available workers between 2 cards. Any number of workers can be placed on each space but 1 at a time, following player turns. Use the turn event card lets the player use his disc and benefit from it. And if they're out of workers and already used their disc for turn event, they'll eventually move their disc to phase 2.
Here, again, the current player will perform one of these actions: earn money, activate a card, use the turn's event if they haven't already, use one of their buildings, or pass. To earn money, simply take back one of your workers adjacent to a card and place him as inactive next to your start card. He will generate for you a number of pounds equal to the number of workers adjacent to that same card. To activate a card, remove one of your workers, placing it as inactive, and choose one of the adjacent cards they were moved from. If it's a building, you can construct it as your own and place it on the right side of your start card in your neighborhood. Pay a total cost comprised of the upper right corner's base cost, plus any adjacent workers on it, and finally buying a lot for that building. You will find these on your start card. First space being free and then steadily increasing in price for more space as you need them. You can, however, replace a building you own with a new one should you choose not to pay the extra lot space. Better yet, should you choose to replace a building that has a common symbol with the new one, the cost of the new building will be reduced by 3 pounds. Patenting a technique is done the same way. Pay its base cost plus any workers around it. These, however, don't require extra slots and are placed on the left side of the start card. If it's a character, you call upon him to perform his services. Again, the cost is paid the same way, except that characters are never removed from the market. All you get from them is their service.
A player can also choose to use one of their buildings. Here, a player turns his building card sideways and pays the cost by placing one or more of his active workers for the desired effect. If you planned your round right, accumulated enough money, saved some active workers, and purchased the building at the right time, you can then use its effect for that round. Lastly, a player that hasn't any more active workers has to pass. Here, the other players, still in turn, continue to do their actions until everyone passes and we reach end of turn. Here, all market cards are discarded as well as the turn event card, and the players regain their disc back. Any sideways building in the player's neighborhood are straightened as well as techniques, and the first player token moves to the next player in clockwise order, where he will now begin the turn following the steps we mentioned. A couple of things that occur in the game is when players reach the 8th and 20th victory mark on the score track. Here, the player who reached the 8th mark chooses a bonus token. Either he gets a worker or he gets £5. When he chooses one, he'll place the other bonus token on the 20th mark, which he'll get should he reach it. Players will play the first 3 turns using the A cards, the 4th and 5th turn using the B cards, and the 6th and last turn using the C cards. As you can see, these cards get progressively more expensive but with a bigger return. At the end of the 6th turn, players can count their victory points from their neighborhoods, and any bonuses given to them by their technique, and the player with the most wins.
Spyrium has quickly become one of our favorite games here at BTD. Yes, we here do prefer Euro-style games, but that isn't the only reason why we love it. Every action you do in this game is essential to your overall strategy. In what order you do it, when to move to phase 2, when to earn money. Do you leave workers there to increase the price for the next player should he choose to buy a building? Or will you give him extra pounds by leaving him there? Do you want to use that character's ability of gaining victory now so you can get that bonus checkpoint now? Or do you need to buy that building before someone else does? It's constant action-reaction. And there are so many ways of trying to win the game. Do you just want to increase your neighborhood with high-cost victory points? Or use Spyrium Mine to convert those to VPs? Or try and get many techniques and try to get your VPs with their bonus? Or increase your residence track first so your income at the beginning of every turn is much higher than other players, facilitating buying buildings. And every action you do is essentially player interaction. You either pressure him in earning more money or buying that sought out building at a higher rate while you're still trying to achieve your tactics for that round. One small error in calculation can put you in jeopardy for the whole round. And the game is also well played with either 2 players, which makes resources scarcer since there'll be less worker for you to earn money, as it is as a 5-player game where leaving a building on the market because you choose to earn money might make it disappear before it comes to your turn again. There's so much strategy. It's easy to understand and hard to master. It's definitely one of our favorite games. The components are good, they give baggies for them as well, and the rulebook is easy to understand with lots of examples. The art is unique. It's as if what steampunk would be imagined in England's Industrial Revolution. A sense of realism mixed with a touch of sci-fi with the rare green Spyrium crystals. It's just a great game and concept all around. If you like worker placement, in-depth strategy, and a game that's not going to last 2 hours, get this game. We give it 9 Spyrium out of 10.